The hidden rituals and sacred symbols of Osiris. Egypt, a civilization built on secrets, where the line between the divine and the mortal was blurred, and knowledge was power. But not all knowledge was meant for everyone. Some rituals were so sacred, so dangerous, that only the chosen few were allowed to witness them. The priests of Osiris held the keys to resurrection, immortality, and the afterlife. They guarded ancient rites, ceremonies that promised divine transformation but carried untold risks. What were these forbidden rituals? Could their hidden powers still be waiting to be rediscovered? From the jed pillar to the crook and flail, the symbols of Osiris weren't just decoration. They held messages, codes, and secrets that shaped the destiny of kings. What do these symbols truly mean? Were they merely representations, or did they hold real mystical energy? Today, we uncover what was meant to stay hidden, step into the shadows of the temples, and unlock the forgotten mysteries of Osiris. If you seek the truth, then stay with me on this journey. There's so much more to reveal. Before we begin unraveling the hidden rituals of Osiris, make sure to stay connected. There's so much more to uncover in the mysteries of ancient Egypt. Subscribe now and be part of this journey into the sacred and the unknown, the sacred rituals of Osiris. Osiris was more than a god. He was a symbol of life, death, and rebirth. His story is the foundation of ancient Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, and his rituals shaped the way generations prepared for eternity. But these were not just myths. They were sacred rites, performed in hidden chambers, whispered among priests, and carried out with unwavering devotion. They were ceremonies of power, transformation, and the promise of immortality. The resurrection ritual, Osiris's return from death. Betrayed, murdered, and dismembered, Osiris was cast into the Nile, his body scattered across the land. But his story did not end there. Isis, his devoted wife, refused to accept his fate. She traveled across Egypt, gathering the pieces of his body, speaking words of power, invoking the forces of the divine. And then Osiris rose. But his resurrection was different. He did not return as a king among men. He became something greater. He ascended beyond the physical world, taking his place as the ruler of the underworld, the eternal judge of souls. This was the first resurrection in Egyptian mythology, the first triumph over death. And from that moment, his followers believed that by understanding his rituals, they too could achieve eternal life. Was this just a symbolic tale? Or did the Egyptians believe that resurrection was truly possible? Look at their burial practices, the intricate tombs, the detailed preparation of the body, the sacred spells written inside pyramids. Everything they did was designed to mirror Osiris' journey, to ensure that the dead would follow in his footsteps and awaken in the afterlife. But was it merely spiritual? Or was there a deeper, hidden science behind these rituals, something we no longer understand? The ritual of the opening of the mouth, awakening the dead. One of the most mysterious and sacred ceremonies in Egyptian tradition was the opening of the mouth. This was not just a burial rite. It was believed to give life back to the dead. Imagine this: a high priest stands before a mummified body holding a sacred instrument. With precise movements, he touches the lips, the eyes, the ears, whispering ancient words, calling upon the Baz, invoking unseen forces. To the Egyptians, this was not just a symbolic act. They believed that this ritual restored the senses, the voice, and the breath of the deceased, preparing them to enter the afterlife as a fully awakened being. But could it have been more than that? Some scholars suggest that this was not just a religious rite, but a ritual of activation, meant to transfer energy or consciousness. Could this be an early form of a forgotten technology? A lost understanding of life and death? And here's something even stranger. Variations of this ritual appear in other cultures across different civilizations, as if remnants of this knowledge survived long after Egypt's golden age. So we must ask, was this just a tradition? Or were the priests of Osiris guarding a secret that we have yet to fully comprehend? The secrets of Osiris's rituals run deeper than we ever imagined. But these ceremonies were not meant for just anyone. Only the initiated could access this knowledge. If you're enjoying this dive into Egypt's lost wisdom, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, it helps us bring even more ancient mysteries to light. Priestly initiations in Osiris's role, the keepers of hidden knowledge. But who performed these rituals? Who understood their true meaning? Not just anyone, only the initiated, those who had walked the sacred path of Osiris, those who had proven themselves worthy. Egyptian priests were more than temple keepers. They were the guardians of divine knowledge, trained in secret chambers, entrusted with rituals that could guide souls, protect kingdoms, and perhaps even alter reality itself. What did these initiates learn? What mysteries were revealed to them in the shadows of the great temples? Some say they studied the hidden forces of nature, the energies that govern life and death. Others believe they practiced Osirian magic, a form of divine wisdom passed down through generations, accessible only to the chosen few. And here is where it gets even more mysterious. Throughout history, we hear of initiations that mirror the trials of Osiris, rites of passage that involve symbolic death and rebirth. Could this have been a direct continuation of his teachings? The priests of Osiris shaped Egypt's entire belief system, but their secrets didn't end there. Their influence stretched beyond the tombs and temples, beyond even Egypt itself. Some believe that fragments of their knowledge traveled across the world, finding their way into mystery schools, secret societies, and esoteric traditions that still exist today. But the truth remains hidden. Was this knowledge lost, or has it simply been kept from us? The rituals of Osiris were not just ceremonies. They were a blueprint, a pathway to something greater, something only the worthy could understand. In the ancient temples of Egypt, symbols were not just decoration. They were messages, encoded with power, meant only for those who could understand them. One of the most sacred of these symbols was the Jed pillar, the very backbone of Osiris. It stood for stability, resurrection, and the eternal cycle of life and death. Carved into temple walls, placed inside tombs, even built as towering structures, the Jed was more than a symbol, it was a promise that death was not the end, that through the right rituals, one could rise again, just as Osiris did. But how far did this belief go? Was the Jed inspired by real temple structures? Could it have been a gateway to something beyond the physical world? Then there is the crook and flail, the unmistakable emblems of the pharaoh, always seen in the hands of Osiris. The crook, symbol of guidance, the tool of a shepherd, meant to lead and protect. The flail, a sign of discipline, a reminder that true kingship demands both mercy and strength. Every pharaoh held these symbols upon ascending the throne. But why? Were they mere tools of rule, or did they represent something deeper? Perhaps a forgotten connection to Osiris himself? And finally, we come to the most mysterious of all, the Ankh, the key of life, the gateway to immortality. Osiris, Isis, Ra, and countless other gods hold it in their hands, offering it to pharaohs, bestowing it upon the worthy. But why? Was it simply a representation of life, or did it hold real, divine energy? Some believe the Ankh was more than a symbol, that it was a tool, an object of power that could harness the unseen forces of existence. These symbols were not random. They held meaning. They held power, and perhaps they held knowledge that has been lost to time. Were the rituals of Osiris simply stories? Or did the ancient Egyptians truly believe in their power? And if they did, could that power still linger today? For thousands of years, priests and pharaohs dedicated their lives to these sacred ceremonies. They inscribed them on temple walls, performed them in hidden chambers, and carried them out with unwavering devotion. To them, these rituals were not just tradition, they were the key to eternity. The opening of the mouth, the resurrection rites, the journey through the underworld, these weren't just metaphors. They were practices meant to prepare the soul for the afterlife, to ensure safe passage into the realm of Osiris. But here's the question, were they truly just preparing for the next life? Or could these rituals have had an effect in the physical world? Some scholars believe that these ceremonies contained elements of real, ancient sciences, methods of preservation, energy transfer, perhaps even a deeper understanding of consciousness itself. And then there are those who say that these rituals never disappeared at all, that their echoes still exist today, hidden within certain occult practices, secret societies, and esoteric traditions. From Freemasonry to the Hermetic Order, from alchemy to certain religious rites, many modern groups claim to preserve fragments of Egyptian wisdom. Symbols like the Ankh, the Jed Pillar, and the Eye of Horus still appear in mysterious places, etched into architecture, woven into sacred texts, whispered in ancient prayers. Could it be that the legacy of Osiris has been passed down in ways we no longer recognize? That somewhere, hidden in plain sight, his teachings still survive? And this brings us to The Tree of Life, the novel that brings these mysteries to life through the words of Christian Jacq. Did Jaqq's book accurately depict these rites? He is known for his meticulous research, for blending history with fiction so seamlessly that the two become inseparable. But how much of The Tree of Life is historical truth, and how much is creative storytelling? Did he uncover real lost knowledge, or did he create a vision of Egypt that is closer to legend than reality? Perhaps the answer lies in the temples, in the texts, in the ruins that still stand beneath the desert sun. Or perhaps the truth has always been right in front of us, waiting for those with the eyes to see. The secrets of Osiris go far beyond just symbols and rituals. What if his teachings were not just myths, but part of a real mystery school? One that only a select few were ever allowed to enter. The priests of Osiris guarded knowledge that was never meant for the common man. They spoke in hidden codes, performed sacred rites, and preserved wisdom that, even today, remains shrouded in mystery. But where did this knowledge go? Was it lost to time, buried beneath the sands of Egypt? Or was it passed down in secret, hidden within esoteric traditions, waiting for those who are ready to receive it? Some say the ancient Egyptians had access to something beyond our understanding, a way to unlock the mind, to control energy, to transcend the limits of the physical world. Could this have been the true legacy of Osiris? Osiris's legacy is far from over. His rituals were only one piece of a much greater puzzle. What if his teachings were part of a real mystery school, one that still exists in secret? In our next video, we explore the lost teachings of Osiris and whether they were passed down to a chosen few. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Like, share, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. The journey has only just begun. In the next video, we explore the lost teachings of Osiris. Was there a hidden school of wisdom passed down only to the chosen few? And if so, does it still exist today?